Hello everyone, we're going to go through Black Mage's changes in the Endwalker changes. I've said changes too many times. There's going to be a bunch of videos in the top right corner. It's going to explain most of the still relevant guides that I've made for Black Mage. So if you notice that I haven't uploaded much of that stuff, is because the guides are still pretty damn relevant. If there's any changes in the Endwalker stuff towards the Black Mage playstyle and rotation, I will mention that in this extended guide. Now this is an extended guide, similar to the Samurai one that I made earlier, or that I made a few days ago. It's going to have very low editing, no script. I don't have a script in front of my face, I'm just basically talking. So I apologize if I get a little too chatty and I start to repeat myself. Anyways, it's pretty straightforward. We're going to skip a bunch of this stuff and we're going to talk about the changes. If I'm skipping over things, just go for the video in the top right corner. So, for example, if it's talking about Thunder and then the Thundercloud at level 28, go to the level 30 guide in the top right corner. If it's talking about Flare or Sharpcast, Flare at level 50, go to the level 50 guide, and then Sharpcast at level 54, go to the level 60 guide for Sharpcast. With that, let's start off with the Blizzard 2. So the Blizzard 2 changed in Endwalker. Instead, now you're going to be using that on 2 or more targets instead of just spamming Blizzard 1. So Blizzard 2 on 2 or more targets. Just imagine you have these two striking dummies together, pretty close. If they're pretty close, go ahead and use Blizzard 2. If they're separate, go ahead and use the Blizzard 1 instead. So if you can hit 2 targets, go ahead and use the Blizzard 2. But if you can only hit 1 at a time, just continue to use your Blizzard 1 instead. And that pretty much encompasses the AoE rotation segment of the up to level 30. Just continue on with the rest of the abilities. Just incorporate the Blizzard 2 into your rotations for the AoE and remove the Blizzard 1 for the AoE segment. At level 40, up to level 40, level 35 we get the Aspect Mastery 3, which basically makes it so the Fire 2 mimics the Fire 3 in terms of buffing your character with the Astral Fire 3 damage multiplier. What this means is you're going to toss a Blizzard 2 for AoE. You're going to toss your Thunder 2, which should be the AoE Thunder. I won't toss it because I won't... well, I may as well toss it. And then immediately afterwards, we're going to do Fire 2, which will give me the Astral Fire 3, increasing my DPS. And then go ahead and toss Fire 2s back to back till you've run out of mana. It's going to take a bit of time because you're in Astral Fire, naturally. Just keep spamming it. That's pretty much going to be the AoE segment for up to level 40. Once you hit 50, you're going to get a enhanced flare buff from your Fire 2. You will be noticing that will increase your flare's DPS during the AoE rotation. So right here, I want to get it as low as possible. Actually, I went a little too far, didn't I? Huh. Anyway, if you're right here and you're at 800 mana and you're able to cast a flare, go ahead and cast a flare if you wish to do so. Some of you guys have different playstyles. I'm not here judging your playstyle. I'm not here trying to tell you to do a certain playstyle. I'm just giving you guys ideas. If you want to toss the flare once you hit level 50, you want to toss the flare instead of, you know, the last Fire 1 in your chain right before you want to reset with the Blizzard, go ahead and do that. That is up to you guys in your discretion, of course. It would be even better if it hits, you know, 2 targets at once. because you're going to do slightly more DPS. But that's up to you guys and your discretion. I'm just giving you an idea of how to play Black Mage correctly. That's all. That's all this video is for. Not much in terms of changes. Of course, the fire starter. So, I may as well just toss the Blizzard 3 at this point. So the fire starter. Some of you guys have noticed that I have been using Fire 1 whenever I get the chance. Thundercloud, proc, go ahead and use it anytime you get the chance. Some of you guys have noticed that during the level 50 guide, I tossed a bunch of Fire 1s and then I would skip, or I should say, animation cancel the casting itself whenever I get a free Fire 3. This is my way of playing it. If you guys want to keep casting the Fire 1, go ahead and just keep casting it. And then if you do see the Fire 3, immediately press the Fire 3 afterwards. That's perfectly fine. You can do it that way, or you can do it how I do it, which is basically just cast the Fire 1. As soon as I see the proc, I would animation cancel or cast cancel. So I would do this, cancel, cast the proc, and then immediately start casting the Fire 1 again. This will basically slow down your MP consumption. The DPS is kind of the same thing. It's honestly the same DPS if you do it fast enough and you're consistent enough with it. Again, just like I mentioned with the flare after the Fire 1, just make sure that if you're going to do it, you're consistent with it. It's also based on playstyle. You can argue with me on this and try to make it a optimal argument however you want. But when people want to play, a certain way, I really can't do much of anything to change their playstyle. That is their playstyle. I think that encompasses everything. Freeze at level 40 is not really necessary. You need to cast your Blizzard 2 in order to use the freeze. Freeze does do a slightly more potency than the Blizzard 2, but the mana regen that you get from Blizzard 2 under Aspect Mastery 3 is just overwhelming. You don't need to cast a freeze after your Blizzard 2. At least not for now, anyways. We're going to skip forward a lot of levels to the level 56, which is the Enochian. Enochian is now a trait. You don't really need to do anything. You just need to make sure that you're doing your rotations properly, and it should reflect just fine, honestly. As long as you follow through with what I've told you guys up until now, with the changes with the Fire 2, the changes with the Blizzard 2, you should do just fine. You won't even need to do anything. You won't even notice it. Skip that, skip that. Leyline is good. At level 58, you get the Blizzard 4, and you also get the level 58 Enhanced Freeze. So now Freeze becomes a thing. Once you hit 58, you get the Blizzard 4, which is the single target version, and then of course the AoE version, which is Freeze. Confuse people. Blizzard 2, Freeze, Thunder 2 or Thunder 4, whatever you've unlocked. Then we're going to do the Fire 2. Fire 2 again. That's going to eat one of my Umbral Hearts. From here, you can just Fire 2 one last time. And then, of course, do your flares. So, flare once, consumes most of your mana, consumes your third Umbral Heart, and then flare once more to consume all of your mana completely. Then you can transpose and then start it all over again. But you don't need to do your Blizzard 2 because you've already have the Umbral Soul running around you. So immediate freeze instead. Yeah. That expired really fast. 15 seconds. Make sure you're running through your sequences as fast as possible. So that is the changes to the freeze. At level 40, it really doesn't matter too much, but once you hit level 58, then it slightly changes. You won't really be using Blizzard 2, only in the opener, as long as you maintain your Astral Fire Umbral Ice timer. You should not even notice, or you shouldn't even need Blizzard 2 outside of the opener. And then that's pretty much it. And then we have triple cast, stacks of triple cast. I think it's pretty straightforward. Triple cast with the swift cast the first time, and then triple cast by itself. It's mostly used for mobility, but you want to use it on cooldown, and you want to ley lines between the two. So it's going to be triple cast, swift cast. Once all those charges are gone, then you want to ley lines. Once the ley line expires, then you want to triple cast, swift cast. You never want to instant cast a spell while ley lines is active. Ley lines will already shrink the amount of casting and recast required, so you can keep, shooting or spamming your abilities while being a turret. You want to stay in the circle. Triple cast, swift cast will basically be the opposite. You're going to have the 2.5 instant cast. So if an ability has a long cast bar, such as a Fire 3 having 3.1, you're only looking at the recast, which is the 2.44 on the bottom corner here, if you can see my mouse pointer. While you have triple cast, swift cast, you're only concerned with that recast, that 2.44 seconds. For me, it's 2.44 seconds because I have a bit of spell speed. But if you don't have any spell speed and you're just building pure crit, it should just be 2.5 seconds. And of course, if you're under ley lines, do not use any swift cast or triple cast. The triple cast and ley lines should never mesh. That is the key fact. Never mesh the two. And that's pretty much it. The last thing that I would possibly go through in terms of complete changes, actually no, the Sharpcast. Sharpcast is another thing. In the level 60 guide, I believe, Sharpcast is used incorrectly in these single targets. I completely fixed that in the level 80 that I uploaded, the quick 5-minute level 80 one that shows you a proper way to use it. Basically, in a single target, after you've tossed your Blizzard 3, just a quick example, Blizzard 3, Thunder 3, Fire 3, then you want to Sharpcast here. Fire 1 to proc the 42 Fire Starter, and then you want to just spam your Fire 4s till this timer is relatively low, within 2 to 3 seconds. So right now it's good. You can toss that free Fire 3 to reset the timer. That's during single target. During AoE, just toss it with your Thunder 4 or your Thunder 2, and then immediately toss the instant Thundercloud proc. Right afterwards, you have mobility. I do go through that stuff in the quick 5-minute level 80 rotation. Foul and Despair, mostly Foul, I believe. What is it? No, Despair. Despair is normal. Despair doesn't have any changes. What is it? Foul and Xenoglossy. Okay, so Foul and Xenoglossy. Foul specifically is instant cast now. I've gotten a few questions. Where do I use Foul and Xenoglossy? How do I use these in perspective to the whole rotation? These two are used during. There's 2 phases. 2 times you want to be using these two. You honestly just want to hoard 2 stacks, and if it looks like you are about to get a third, you cannot hold any more than 2 stacks, or at least up to level 80 you cannot. I haven't gone any further than that, but for now you cannot hold any more than 2 stacks. So if it looks like you're about to get 3, go ahead and burn it. immediately. But the best two good times to use this is as soon as you click that Blizzard 3 or the Blizzard 4, now is a good time to use that. So going from Astral Fire to Umbral Ice is a good time to toss your Foul or your Xenoglossy. Going from Umbral Ice to Astral Fire is also a good time. And also going from basically just tossing the spare. Anytime you toss a spare and anytime you toss a Fire 3 is also a good time to toss one of these. You just want ample time to toss the charge and also continue with your rotation as well. That's pretty straightforward how that gets done. They are instant cast now, so they also give you mobility. So if you need to do that, just make sure you have enough time to cast the continuation to reset Firestarter with Fire 3. And if you don't have a Fire 3 proc, just make sure you have time to both cast the instant Xenoglossy or Foul, as well as to stand there and hard cast a Fire 1 if you don't have the Fire 3 instead. It's just a bit of practice. Just practice it out. You should be fine after a few hours of practice.
Thank you to all of my Patreon members, as well as any contributors, both old and new. Thanks for watching. Click here to subscribe to this channel. If you wish to join Tempest Discord, if interested in joining Tempest Talon's free company in Crystal Brynhilder, finally consider supporting us on Patreon or other donation sites in the description below. This channel is a work in progress and will always seek to improve. Thank you.